And when the wire you're holding in this hand and the wire you're holding in this hand and your feet are on the ground and there's a current running through them, look out. And that's why you ask the judge, are you refusing to adjust my account? If you're going to refuse, I'm going to charge back, send a back charge, back up the wire to you. Go ahead and hold on. Because under public policy, you're going to get a little shock. Because I've done my duty. I have said, I agree with you. I'll accept the charge. When they had Christ before Pilate, Pilate said, are you the king of the Jews? And he said, you said it. He neither agreed nor denied. He just said, you said it, not me. Okay? What we're saying is, I neither agree nor disagree. I'll just accept what you're telling me. And I have people say, I'm not going to accept a lie. I say you don't have any choice. I say you accept it and you send it back up the wire to them. Let them deal with it. Again, how do you start a car? You have a charge, you have a battery. It's got a negative and a positive, and together, if you put a jumper cable to them on a dead battery, you put in a charge, you turn the key, which the electrical circuit then completes, and it sends a discharge to the starter, which turns it and starts the car. I think. I'm not a mechanic. That's what this is doing. We're recharging the account. We're trying it again. Got a little bigger charge coming back up here. Do your duty. Adjust my account. Okay? Yeah?
Who initiates the shock, Judge?
That's not up to me.
No.
Somebody above me.
Okay. Would it be the IRS?
I don't know. We'll just wait and see. Yeah? It can. He asked if it can keep going and keep going and keep going back and forth. Typically, they will for a while. If they're going to start doing it, typically they will continue. If they're going to adjust the account, they'll do so almost immediately. If they're going to drag their feet, you're in it, you're going to have to go through it. It's going to take somebody above them to do it. I'll tell you briefly how that worked for me, and then we'll quit for tonight. By the way, tomorrow we're going to work on how to fill out the UCC, how I fill it out. There's all kinds of ways to do it. I'm going to show you how I do it. And exactly how to do that. We're going to talk about a security agreement a little bit, how I do it, or we do it. Then we'll do a couple of court sessions tomorrow. We're going to handle some more presentments tomorrow with letters and things. And then we'll try and get a bunch of questions that you have answered. I had a pickup that was a 95 Ford F-150 that I had gotten in an accident with and messed up and didn't have a job and ended up in a financial situation that in '99 that I just took back the pickup to the bank and give them the keys. And so about a month later, I get a letter from the bank that says, you owe $6,700 and some dollars. Well, I owed $10,000 on it, and so they had sold it. And so I was experimenting with this whole accepted for value thing, and so I just let it sit there for the time being, and I knew eventually if I let it sit there long enough, well, the guy would call, and sure enough he did, and so he's talking to me, and I said, well, listen, I said, I don't quite understand. I said, I took you back the collateral. You've obviously done something else with it, and now you're trying to bill me for whatever you didn't accomplish. And he says, well, you have a deficiency here. And I says, well, you didn't get enough when you sold the truck. And so, anyway, we had this little conversation, and he insisted that I owed him the money. And I says, well, what you need to do is you need to put this in writing and send it to me, and make sure you sign your name in blue ink so I know that it's original, not a copy, because I want your offer right up front. And you need to mail it to me, because I'm not going to do business on the phone. And because I don't ever do business on the phone. Don't do business on the phone. Make them put it in writing and send it to you. And so he says, well, what do you think a telephone's for? And so I piped right up and said, well, I call my mother on the telephone, and I don't do business. So he was pretty upset, but he nonetheless sent me his letter. And so I took his letter and I accepted it for value, and I put another nice letter back to him with it. And about 10 days later, he called me again, and he said, I've got these papers from you, and I want to know when we're going to get our money. And I said, well, you got your money. It's laying there in front of you. And he said, this isn't money. And I said, well, I suggest, I mean, I can't tell you what to do, but I would suggest that you get with your commercial legal department and have a discussion with them about money. And he says, you really have no intention of paying this, do you? And I says, you don't understand, I just did. And so he was getting more upset by the moment, and I said, listen, you know, I don't really, if you need me to do something else other than I've done, please put it in writing, sign your name to it, and send it to me. And he hung up on me. And so a couple hours later, his boss called me. And he identifies himself, and he starts talking to me, and I says, whoa, whoa, time out here. I says, before I can talk to you about this matter, I need you to fax me your employee's assignment of interest in he and I's non-negotiable agreement from him to you, because I have to approve it as well. And he says, what in the world are you talking about? I says, well, he and I had a non-negotiable agreement. Do you have the paperwork in front of you? And he says, yes. And I says, what's the first thing it says? He says, non-negotiable. I said, well, that means it's between he and I. And I can't talk about it with you until I have his permission. He hung up on me too. And I've never heard from him again. Okay? Now, you have to go through these things and experiment with them to see what happens. See what they say. I guarantee you, they won't reach through the phone and grab you. Okay? They might send you nasty letters, and they might an attorney might send you one, and that's the best thing that can happen. Okay? Because now you got it in the hands of somebody that understands. And man, you've got to love them attorneys, because they'll just jump right out there and say, you have to do this. Well, I'll accept it and you for value. Now what do you want to do? I'm accepting your offer. Would you like to dishonor your own offer? You see, what you're doing is you're setting them up from the beginning to do what you want them to do. But you have to go through it. You can't avoid it. You don't want to avoid it. Meet it head on and find out about what's really going on. You guys work all week long at one of those just over brokes, a J-O-B. Okay, that stands for just over broke. Okay? And all the money that you make, you send to somebody else. They bill you. You volunteer to put what you make in the envelope and send it to them. I'm going to show you how to quit volunteering and still accomplish the same thing. And people say, well, you're getting something for nothing. Am I? Where did the money come from to begin with? Okay? If they sold my birth certificate, if in fact in this country at death my estate is exempt from levy $650,000, and this is the end of the account, where's the beginning? This is only one side of the account. This is death. We're over here in life. What does this side have to be?